Hey guys, another quick video. I'm gonna show you how to do retiming and also animate the timeline while retiming to get the bullet time effects. So I've shown this in a couple of the larger videos. So there are things that are more particular to large, more complex simulations, but in this case I'm gonna go with the sphere. Maybe I thought that I clicked, but I didn't. Let me just disable real time. And yeah, here we go. So in order to retime this, I need to enable the velocity, and also if the emitter is moving, so in this scene it's not gonna be moving, but if it is, it's better to also export the emitter velocities so that it would retime correctly. And after I've done this, I need to refresh the simulation so that it could cache the velocity and the emitter velocity like this, and then I go right here and enable simulation retimer. So by default it says by frame, and the frame is always 0, so it just stays in one place and always displays frame 0. So I can tell it to retime by speed and use some kind of speed like 27.3 for example, and also gonna make the timeline longer so that we could see everything. So here we see that we have stuff cached up until frame 100 and something, but now we are showing the retimed frames, and since there are the animation is slower, most of the timeline is not cached, and this shows only the original simulation. So there it is. It looks like it's retiming, but if I start playing the frames manually, it just switches to the next frame at some point. So if we want to have the simulation retime smoothly, we have to enable smooth retiming interpolation from here. So now it is retiming every frame. And also, if you want to have the velocity channel exported in the retimed sequence, you can also enable velocity interpolation. So by default, it's going to do a simpler interpolation for the velocity field. This one is going to take a bit longer, but it's going to produce a better velocity field in case you need the velocities for motion blur or anything else. So the next thing is to retime by frame. So if I want to animate the play speed instead of using a constant speed, I could do this. I could tell it to use a certain frame for each frame of the timeline. So starting from here, I could go very quickly to frame 100, then very quickly back to frame like number 5, then maybe advance slowly over time to frame 20, then I don't know, maybe go quickly up to frame 90, and then rewind back to 0, for example, or to -10. Let's see. Oh, but I wanted to. Hold on. Did I? Oh yeah. So now everything is gonna be offset. Anyway, this should also be working. So starting from -10. Let me just double check, real time is off. Play it. It goes up to frame 100, rewinds back to sub-0 frames, then slowly ramps up again, then speeds up, and then slowly returns into the ball. Yep, that's it. So there is one more thing that you need to look out for. By default, the retiming is by default the retiming uses the Inferno Recall cache, and by default the Inferno Recall cache uses strong compression. But in very few cases, so I have a few test scenes. So in just a couple of my 100 and something test scenes, it needs to have a less strong compression. So if you see any artifacts, any flickering, anything like this, try reducing the compression and eventually just go with lossless compression. So you're going to have to recache it, and then it should retime smoothly. So that's pretty much it. Thanks guys for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.